How the heretics? I'm here with Farida, and she were at the protest in Melbourne, and she sent messages. She really energetic. And tell us about your story with the Jehovah's Witnesses. How did it start?
Well, I guess in my family there's Jehovah's Witnesses and there's ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, and I got a bit drawn into the Jehovah's Witnesses when I was a child, about 7 years old. I used to, it's quite funny really, I used to dress up as Jehovah. I put on all my mother's best makeup and all her nice fabrics, and I used to dress up as Jehovah.
She was watching He-Man?
Yeah, I thought Jehovah was like a superhero, like in He-Man cartoons or Superman or something like that.
Yes,
so, yeah.
So you were 7 years old?
Yeah, I was 7 years old. I got drawn into it.
And that's funny because I know Jehovah's Witnesses that are 7 years old that get baptized.
Yeah.
So,
I never got baptized.
No.
Yeah.
But it's still weird. That's how the child minds works.
Yeah.
Well, actually, that's how grown people also work. They also believe he's a superhero. They just don't put on makeup.
Yeah. I guess so, yeah.
Anyway, so this is the first time you protest for human rights when it comes to ex-cult movements. But tell us about earlier protests you had been protesting.
Well, I was involved in the marriage equality movement for about 12 years for LGBTI people to have the right to marry. And yeah, I was an organizer in that movement for a long time. And yeah, it's a very successful movement. We won. We mobilized tens of thousands of people to protest for our right to marry, and we won.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think, I think from that point of view, from my background in that movement, this ex-Jehovah's Witness movement to hold the governing body to account, it's very, very exciting new movement.
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, it's for gay, transgender, like LGBTI rights as well. That LGBTI people have a very, very hard time in the Jehovah's Witness and get very rejected and shunned, and yeah, it's for our rights, but also it's much broader than that too, for all the human rights injustices that go on in the Jehovah's Witnesses. Yeah.
But it's not only like Jehovah's Witnesses, because if Jehovah's Witnesses would disappear today, there's still a lot of cults. So I think like focusing on human rights and equality, like not gay Muslims or gay Christian, like gay people and children of all colors and all creeds, because it's LGBTI people, women, and just people that I think in the Jehovah's Witnesses, people even aren't allowed to think for themselves. That's just a very basic human right. You have to be able to think for yourself, and not just be told what to think by this power structure. Yeah. So how do you think we will beat the governing body then?
Well, I think people power can really beat anything. I think people power really is very, very powerful if it's sustained over time and can draw in as many people as possible. Yeah. And I think we proved that by winning the right to marry. Yeah.
So what lesson can we take from your struggle there?
Persistence. Yeah.
Persistence.
Yeah. Not giving up. Even when you don't know what the next step will be, even when you don't know if you'll win or lose, there's no immediate sign to tell you either way. You just keep going. And eventually you can win with persistence, and if the course of history is on your side.
By endurance we conquer.
By endurance. And also I think this new movement is very, very tactically intelligent already, even though it's young. And actually it has some things to teach the other protest movements about reaching out to people, about, it's very intelligent that this movement is trying to reach out to the Jehovah's Witnesses, trying to have a conversation, have a dialogue, not just yell at them. And that's something I think other movements need to learn from. We're not here to yell at people, we're here to have a conversation and build something together.
So she posted online, she thought we should have an annual
International Movement Day. And well, we do have Watchtower Victim Memorial Day, and we do have PIMO Day, but that's just us supporting ourselves. But I told her there's something called Memorial on Memorial.
Right.
Because the good thing with using the witnesses, like protesting outside the convention, is that the witnesses will drag out a journalist for us.
Yeah.
And like the memorial, they take the recruits and put them in front of us. We just have to show up. So they are doing most of the job. So
yeah, it's often a struggle to get media coverage of protests, and if the witnesses can help, then that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But
thank you.
Yeah. What else can we talk about?
Well, I want to ask if you would consider doing the Memorial on Memorial in Melbourne.
Yeah, well, I think I
At least consider it.
yeah, I think it's not my place to tell this movement what to do. I think the people who were fully immersed in the Jehovah's Witnesses and who've now left, it's first and foremost the struggle of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, and ex-Jehovah's Witnesses have been very, very good at leading this movement, and yeah, it's their rightful place to lead this movement. But I want to be a very faithful follower of this movement, and I really want to help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She claims to be she never been a dub, but she was half indoctrinated,
yeah. That's true, yeah.
And she has Jehovah's Witness family, so I think she's an honorary ex-dub just because she weren't baptized. There's a lot of ex-dubs that never been baptized.
Yeah, true. And yeah, okay. If I'm an ex.
At one point in your life, you believed in the mythology.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so
Then
you were an ex-dub.
I don't think I really understood it, but I believed in it. Yeah. I think.
So you told me you and your girlfriend was dressed up as Jesus.
Yeah, and I was
and you were
dressed
dressed up
Jehovah.
Yeah.
If I'm an ex-Jehovah's Witness, then I'm very, very proud, because I think ex-Jehovah's Witnesses are amazing people.
We are.
Yeah.
Thanks for noticing. We are amazing people.
And I'm proud I was brought up by my ex-Jehovah's Witness mother. So when I was growing up, I heard a lot about what ex-Jehovah's Witnesses have been through, and yeah, I really, because I heard all that as a child, and what you hear as a child sinks in. Just my heart goes out to people. I really do care, and I really want to be there for this movement, just, on that gut level. Just any ex-Jehovah's Witnesses who are organising to hold the governing body to account. Just put me to work. Anything that you want me to do, I'll be there.
Yeah, that's good. But if you're considering a memorial, just for example, just start a webpage and invite people, and you're the boss. It's a democracy. Anyone can do anything as long as it's legal.
Yeah. If other people in Melbourne want to do that, then I think that'd be great, and I really want to help with that. Yeah, it'd be good. Especially if there's events all around the world, because of course the Jehovah's Witnesses are global, and they're always showing off how global they are, that they have this amazing story from this young girl in Chile or something who converted all of her classroom or something. In their magazines you read it, they have all these stories from all around the world. They're showing off like that, how global they are. We got to think globally too, and it's great that this new movement is already thinking very globally. Yeah.
When witnesses talk about globally, they talk about globally except most part of Asia.
Yeah.
And the Muslim world.
Yeah, they're not very popular in Indonesia.
No, it's really not global witness. And the same with Mormons. Mormons start very much, it's good, kind of the same culture. They started preaching 150 years ago. Led by angels and Holy Spirit. And still,
you know what though?
They're not in Afghanistan. They're not in Somalia. It's a crappy Holy Spirit guiding this organization. So what did you think about the protest outside the Melbourne Convention?
It was amazing. Just the courage of those people who've been through everything they've been through, including experience of child sexual abuse, that they can, first of all, they've left that cult, which is a very, very courageous thing to do. But not only they've left that cult, after they left, they come back to that toxic environment to protest. And I just take my hat off that people were that brave to do that. And it was very, very moving for me. And I wanted to be there for the whole time. I couldn't be there for the whole time. I had other commitments, but also just emotionally it was a lot to take in, just everything going on. I'd never seen a big convention like that before.
You never went to a convention as a child?
No. I went to meetings, but I've never seen a big convention of 40,000+ people.
Did you go inside?
In the meetings, yeah.
I mean the convention.
No, I didn't go inside the
neither
convention.
did I.
No. Would I have been allowed inside? Maybe not with that shirt on.
Well, not with that shirt on, of course. But actually, in the Copenhagen convention, we were wearing shirts and focusing on human rights, never mentioning witnesses, but we were allowed in and listening to Stephen Lett.
Yeah.
And we were disgusted and went out. It was really sad. He started the convention was Love Never Fail, and he started a speech about indoctrinating, well, they don't call it indoctrinating children, but mold your children to Jehovah's thinking. That's the stuff they say. Anyway, he started the speech with saying that we must teach our children not to love themselves. It's kind of disgusting and then it just goes worse from there.
Yeah, it's important.
So we went in, we were allowed to go in and listen to him, and we were respectful, would nod our head when they were praying to their favorite, I don't know. And so we were respectful, but we couldn't listen to it. All of us had the same reaction. When you wake up from the indoctrination and realize this is damaging for children, you deliberately give them low self-esteem. I remember they used to say, you should not be proud. You should not be proud. You should never be proud. If you're proud, you're like Satan. But you are allowed to be proud of being a witness. You're allowed to have a lot of negative feelings about yourself, but you're allowed to having good feelings about you being a witness. And when you grow up like that, they deliberately give you low self-esteem, and everything positive about you is connected to Watchtower. That's a crime by itself. But then with the shunning add-on that we can remove the part of your identity that you actually love, we control that part of your identity.
Right.
Look up the UN Convention of the Rights of a Child and you see there's a lot of stuff there, and Watchtower is violating it. So hashtag all religions must. All religions must respect human rights, including gay rights.
Yeah, exactly.
Children had the right to form their own identity, which as a gay person, that's a part of your identity.
Yeah.
According to witnesses, you're not allowed to have that identity.
Yeah.
The parents will tell you your identity, and the Watchtower will tell you your identity. You identify as you're a witness. So, no.
Yeah, people have a right to be themselves, and it's not right to deny people the right to be themselves.
Yeah, and even no insult. I'm just saying to people when people don't like homosexuality, I say, if it's a crime, it's a victimless crime. So why do you care? You understand what I mean? I'm no insult. It's just even if they were right, it's a victimless thing.
Yeah.
No, people care about too much sometimes.
Yeah, this is something I really like about ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. Ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, I think, have really good values. Ex-Jehovah's Witnesses actually understand what is and isn't a crime. What is and isn't wrong. It's not just some arbitrary system.
It's not a set of stupid rules that cannot be changed.
Yeah, ex-Jehovah's Witnesses know what's important in life, and because they've had to rebuild a set of values from scratch that's based on actual empathy, actual human values, not just imposed from a power structure from above. People come up with very good values that way, that are actual human values.
Thank you. That was very nice. No, you're right. Start from scratch and just see what's a good person doing, no matter what some book says. And what do I do that benefit people? What do I do that hurt people? What do I do that other people should not care about me doing?
Yeah.
So
Yeah, what's right and wrong? Think for yourself, figure it out for yourself, and that's the best way of finding out what's right and wrong.
yeah, and basically that's the opposite of what Jehovah's Witnesses believe, that no one should figure out for themselves what's right and wrong. That's what Satan wanted to do, and that's why, it's weird.
Yeah.
So what do you think about, so it's fun to talk to her because she's an ex-witness, even if she refused, because she used to believe it, but before she was 10, and now she's older, so she kind of have she's like a worldly person but not, so it's fun to hear you. What do you think about the witnesses at the convention?
I think
because interrupting you, as I was an Uberdub, fourth generation, really submerged. And for me, looking at the witnesses now, it's like a different religion. You know, people, there was Americans, Caucasian Americans, and they were walking around dressed like Native Americans. Like I said, that's also in a victimless crime, so I don't care. But it's weird. And imagine if me 20 years ago would say, Mommy, Daddy, no, 30 years ago, Mommy, Daddy, I would like to go to the convention dressed as a Native American. I would get a beating. And they would say some racist stuff about Americans, Native Americans too, probably. So the religion really changed.
I think there's a lot there. I think that dressing up in Native American costume, I think Native American people often find that very offensive. They call that cultural appropriation or something. I think it's trivializing people's cultural heritage, and I think it's wrong.
Like I said, I don't care about victimless crime, so I put it in the category of weird. Really
it is weird.
It's really weird. We have a lot of minorities in Scandinavia too. Everyone is white, so it's not a racial thing, but we have a minority called Sami. I would never dress up in their costume.
No, why would you do that?
We have our own costume.
Yeah.
I could dress up in a Norwegian, well, actually in a Swedish costume I should, because I'm from Sweden. We have our own costumes, native costumes, you know, as Scandinavians. But I'm not supposed to dress up in a Norwegian costume because I'm not Norwegian, even though we speak the same language, and especially not in a Sami costume. That would be weird. So seeing all these Caucasian Americans walking around dressed in feathers was amusing, to put it mildly.
I didn't see that myself, but that's very strange.
I'd never seen that before. And also the police asked me, the Australian police asked me, why do the Aussies wear akubras, like Australian hats, stuff like that? And, well, I'm a foreigner, so I thought that's how Australians look like, but they explained to me, normally in Melbourne, they don't walk around in akubras. A dress and a suit and a tie and an akubra. So I guess the Americans try to look as native as possible. Also the Australians try to look as Australian as possible. I saw people doing even, the Aboriginal painting.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
That's terrible. You can't do that.
Maybe they were Australian. Well, let's victimless crime. Let people do what they want to do.
If people are Aboriginal and they're doing that, then of course that's that's their cultural heritage. And you can't always tell who's Aboriginal and who's not. So, we can't judge that. But if it's white people doing that, that's really wrong.
Well, it's not wrong.
I think it's wrong. You just with the history of genocide that's gone on in this country, you just can't make light of that. You can't trivialize that.
No, it's not trivializing. It's like I said,
that's what I think.
I'm pragmatic. If it's a victimless crime, it's a victimless crime. It's several ways of seeing it. You could also see that like we put it behind ourselves and we're moving forward. Cultures will always merge.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's still too much tensions going on in Australia. Around the rights of Aboriginal people. Too many human rights abuses for white people to be dressing up like that. Like you just can't do that. It's like wearing blackface or something. You just can't do that. Jehovah's Witnesses are doing that, then that's really wrong.
Yeah. So what about the sign? What was your favorite signs at the protest?
I like the sign that said people who don't want you to think aren't friends. I like the sign that said that.
That's a good one.
And I liked the one that really moved me was the one about shunning that said, if our family are here, then we love you and we miss you. And I just, that made me want to cry. That there was people at the protest who didn't know if their family were there or not. That their family had turned their backs on them for that long, that they just had no contact and didn't know, and they're still trying to reach out to their family. Like, that's such a sad situation, and brave to hold up that sign. And also I like the signs about child sexual abuse as well, that people are brave enough to raise that issue, and it's one of the core issues I think that the governing body absolutely needs to be held to account on.
Yeah, it's weird that they didn't change it. You know, the 2 witness rule is stupid. It's stupid because there's a lot of examples of 1 witness rule in Bible. Like when, obviously, when Jesus invisibly elected the governing body in 1919, that's the 0 witness rule. There were no witnesses because Jesus were invisible. But then you have stories in the Bible where an allegedly good king were protecting the Israelites due to reports from 1 spy, and that would be the 1 witness rule. To protect, you only need suspicion. And they're losing money. So I wonder why they are so stubborn and refuse to change it.
Yeah, well,
it's like, I hate conspiracy theories, but sometimes they are true. At this point, since they don't change it, you might think someone present or past in the governing body had something to hide. So that's why it's so cemented. We really need to keep the 2 witness rule. I hate conspiracy theories, but I'm running out of other explanations. And I think maybe not alive today, but at one point in history there were a governing body member that had done something and had accusations against him, and that's why the 2 witness rule still today applies. So
that sounds very plausible.
I hate conspiracy theories, but sometimes they're true, and because it's so easy to find in the Bible, like they do proof texting, they just find something to prove. And you can find a lot of places in the Bible where there's a report from 1 person about a danger, and they take action due to this report from 1 person. So
whether or not it's biblical, I don't really care, but children have to be protected.
Yeah.
That is just so basic.
What's your impression? How did the witnesses react to us protesting?
Yeah, that was very interesting. I think I appreciate that some witnesses actually came and spoke to us, and actually I had some good conversations with some witnesses. They despite the fact that they're not supposed to even talk to, I think, apostates, they came and spoke to us. That was nice. I think Jehovah's Witnesses, people think they're annoying door knockers or something. I think, if you actually know Jehovah's Witnesses, it's a bit more complicated than that. I think there's a line from a movie once that I saw that, people aren't good or bad, they're just trying to do what they think is right. And that's what I think of when I think of Jehovah's Witnesses. That, it's not that they're bad people; they're just doing what they think is right.
Yeah.
And
it's a religion that makes good people toxic. In some situations.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. And I like talking to the ones that would talk to me.
What did they say?
Well, first of all, they agreed with me that the governing body needs to go to the police about, it needs to go to the police about child sexual abuse when it's raised, when there's allegations raised.
The witnesses said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that's good.
That's good.
But also, we just talked about life and things, and that was nice. But the strange thing was all the people who ignored us, just standing right there in plain sight and being ignored by tens of thousands of people, just feeling invisible in plain sight. That was very strange.
Yeah, and it drains your energy.
Yeah, it kind of does. Yeah, and I guess that's a form of shunning. That's an abuse tactic.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. No, so that's the people who arranged this. We also had we normally do. We have a lot of fun at the protests. So but in the evening we were having a meetup. So not only the protesters but other PMOs would sneak out and be with us. So it's kind of fun. We would be at a restaurant having a meetup, talking, having fun. And then the next day, we would see people that were there. They would put on the suit and the convention bag and go into the meeting like. So some PMOs were at the convention. No, it's nice to support them. I'm a result-oriented apostate. I want to change legislation to protect children growing up in cults. So I really don't care about Watchtower. It's just the thing that where I have expertise. So I speak about where I have expertise. But we change legislation. We change it for everyone. So all religions must respect human rights.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
No, it was a fun protest, and I hope there will be more protests in Melbourne next year.
Oh, I think there will be.
There will be?
Yeah.
Yeah, see if I can go. It's a lot of work to go from Norway to Australia to be abused by witnesses.
That's dedication.
But it's also about showing the Norwegian politicians and stuff like that dedication.
Yeah.
Because everyone can write an angry letter and they can read it and put it away, but when you show that you go, you show that you never giving up. And they have to take you seriously. So. Yeah.
And that's the sign of a powerful protest movement too. Is never giving up.
And she won a battle before.
Yeah, that's true.
Gay marriage. So
not just me, lots and lots of people. But I'm proud to say we won that.
Yeah, and now she's helping us.
Yeah.
So, what's our slogan? By endurance we conquer.
Yeah, that's a